Hey YouTube, this is Amber with Skyway Acquisition Solutions. We're a management consulting firm that helps federal contractors. Our team is a unique blend of former contracting officers and industry folks. We bring many years and a wide variety of experience, allowing us to provide the best support to help you succeed in federal contracting. This video series is the Skyway Spotlight. Each video you will learn more about our team members and what makes Skyway so special. Let's get started with today's episode.
All right, so today I have Vicky with me and we're just going to discuss the where and the when. My first question for you, Vicky, is where did you spend the majority of your career as a contracting officer?
As a contracting officer, I was with the U.S. Army Communications Electronics Command. I was in Virginia, lived in Virginia for about 15 years and I started as a procurement clerk. And back in the day, you could do that and work your way up. And so that was long before DWIA and the professionalism of the field, which is a huge improvement, I'm sure. But started as a procurement clerk and became a contract specialist and took some courses and stayed in the game and slowly worked my way up and became a contracting officer while I was still there. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my time as a contract specialist. I was very fortunate at the office that I was at because we had a wide range of things that we purchased, not only services, but research and development and products, tanks, actually the electronics within the tanks, radio jammers, just a variety of electronics, which back in the day, that was new stuff. And we were on the cutting edge. So it was really exciting and stuff. And I, to this day, I still love research and development stuff. At any rate, so I got an opportunity. My place that I worked was being closed under the BRAC. Back in the day, it had missed several of them, but it was finally selected. But more than that, I wanted to move south. It was time. I was ready to move. And so I got an opportunity to move to MacDill Air Force Base to the Special Operations Command, where a lot of my old teammates had relocated to, including my director and several other people. So it was back when the Special Operations Command contracting office was being actually set up and initiated. So we were literally writing the rules for how Special Operations Command was going to do business. And so it was lots of fun. I was a contract specialist there. They had a handful of people who were contracting officers. I was kind of late to the party, so I was a contract specialist, which suited me fine. I was also a technical industrial liaison officer for a couple of years, which meant that I faced off with industry. The general had come to us and said, I don't like all these contractors wandering my halls. What can I do to stop them? And so the contracting, the director established my position and we set up rules and they closed the doors to the lobbyists who were treating the new Special Operations Command headquarters as the Pentagon South. And so they were, routed through a more restricted approach and more useful to the time of the people who were actually in the command. For those who don't know, the Special Operations Command is a joint command. It has Army, Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard all represented there. So we homogenized, we blended the rules and picked out what we liked best. And so that's how Special Operations Command Contracting Office got started. So.
Wonderful. So you keep saying way back in the day. So when were you a part of this contracting officer and all these new changes you put into place?
Okay, I was contracting officer back in the 80s at Vint Hill Farm Station, U.S. Army in Virginia. So back in the 80s, I was a contracting officer, contract specialist, procurement analyst. You know, you sit in different seats. And then when I moved to Special Operations Command, I took the TILO, the Technical Industrial Liaison Office position first, and then moved over to being a contract specialist, and got a little bit broader experience since it's a joint command, and I learned some new things and learned how the agencies are very different within DoD itself, and then got to buy a variety of things, including small business innovative research, which, as I said, research kind of is up my alley. A lot of electronics, further advanced electronics than when I was back at the 80s, back in Vint Hill. So that was lots of fun. And
Very good.
so that's my background.
That's your background. Awesome. And you're very unique in the fact that throughout your career, you spent half of the time basically as a CO and the other half in industry. So where did you spend your time in the industry? And just give us a brief overview of that.
I decided to leave the government after I'd had 20 years in already. And I had the opportunity to do that. My situation was that I was able to go ahead and make the move, and I had wanted to do something different. I didn't want to just go on to the industry side and do the exact same thing on the other side of the desk. So I had the opportunity to become the Procurement Technical Assistance Center representative, the PTAC representative for Tampa, Florida. I took over for a man named, he was a legend for the PTAC, Dick Hardesty, and he picked me, to come in. In fact, we met over at my office at MacDill to begin with, and he says, "I hear you want my job," and I said, "Yes, sir, I do." And he said, "Great, let's talk." So off I went, and for 3 years, I had intended to be there a year. I committed to a year. I stayed 3. I loved the job. It is still my all-time favorite job. And I loved the people that I worked with. I was associated with a small business development center in the University of South Florida. And so I was located with them, and they have great talent there. Help for small businesses getting started, help for small businesses trying to write a business plan and get money, and just a huge variety of things. And it's free to the small business community because it's all paid by grant. So I had 3 years of learning how to be a consultant and have a safety net of a paycheck while I was still doing it. So that was great. And it was such a difference because as a contracting officer, contract specialist, it can be a very stressful, kind of somewhat negative environment where you're not anybody's friend really, and you have to say no sometimes to people who don't want to hear no. And so moving over to the PTAC position, all the small businesses thought I was a guru, and I just knew everything. What I knew was government ease and government contracting. And so it was lots of fun to help very new young businesses to get started in the government arena. So that was my fun job. And then when I was reaching the end of 3 years, I had an opportunity I had picked up a couple of independent clients who wanted help with writing proposals. And I said, but I haven't written proposals before. I've reviewed a lot of them, but I haven't actually written them. And when you're facing a blank page, it's a whole different kettle of fish. And I know that. So especially when you're reading a solicitation from the US government. And so I did those, and I found out I really liked it. And I really enjoy the creativity, believe it or not. And the being able to help the competition I like to win. And so I decided that at the end of 3 years that I had always intended to be an independent consultant or run my own business, sort of like Kevin. And I toyed with expanding my business, much like Skyway has. And in about 5 years, I determined I didn't want to do that. I liked being me, myself, and I, and picking and choosing who my clients would be and what projects I would work on. Did a lot of stuff at the client's facilities to begin with, because computers and the internet and telecommuting and all of that, it was not in existence hardly at all back in the early 2000s. And the only time I regretted, the only time I regretted leaving Special Operations Command was when 9/11 hit. And I knew exactly what was going on in that office. And I wanted to help, and I was helpless, as so many of us were. And so, I regretted leaving at that point, but it didn't last long. I'm very happy to be out and like I said, an independent. Since that time, I've worked with a lot of clients, doing a lot of proposals for a lot of different industries. I now know more than I ever cared to know about boiler maintenance. And the difference in sizes and what they can do if you don't treat them right. Facilities maintenance is one of my areas that I happen to like a lot. Who knew? I'd never actually worked in it before, but I really enjoy it as far as proposal writing and things like that. I've helped with foreign language training, professional services, a couple of manufacturing ones for large companies who were tasked with doing research and development to begin with, and then producing first articles, and then actually doing full production runs. We did the proposals for those. And my background in CCOM came into play heavily there, because I'd helped manage those kind of contracts and administer them. So it was like going home again. So it was lots of fun. I dissuaded the business manager, the sales guy, who was planning on leading the team doing the oral presentation with. I said, oh, no, you really don't want to do that. The government really does want to see the program manager and who they're going to be working with, and you will not be wise to do that. And it took a little discussion, but the PM came to me later and he said, thank you. We knew that was the case. It was just hard to get him to accept that. So anyway, I helped with that, and a variety of others that I'm not remembering at the moment. I have helped with some United Nations proposals, some international. I've worked on international proposal teams, which was really exciting in its own way. And I learned some things. So it was, I always like to learn new industries. I like having new clients. It's always like Christmas for me to get my next RFP. And so many people cringe over that, but I used to write those things, which is more's the pity. But I know how it is to write them and put them together. And then now I know thoroughly how it is to read them and understand them, and why questions get asked. For instance, as a government person, you're often in a cocoon, and you've never sat on the other side of the desk. So you kind of think that everything you wrote is crystal clear, and it's right there in the solicitation. But I can guarantee you, if somebody's asking a question, it's because they don't understand and it's not clear. And so, a lesson that I wish I had learned, that I sort of did as a senior contracting officer and contract specialist. I had learned a lot of that already, but I had wished mightily that I could have gone to work in industry for just 6 months, a year, when I was still in the contracting side, so that I could see what it was like. I knew that I didn't know, but I didn't know what I didn't know. And so back when I was there, that wasn't possible. Now I understand it's part of the whole training thing that goes on for contract specialists who are moving into the field. So
Right.
I think it's smart.
Well,
Anyway, that's kind of me.
beautiful. Well, thank you. I loved hearing your full cycle in the government and the industry side. So thank you for your time today, and we'll see you on our next video.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Amber.